Welcome to the Church Brand Guide podcast. My name is Michael Persad. We will help you attract new people to your church and keep them, allowing you to see lives transformed by your ministry. This is where church communications directors come to learn how to build a brand, create marketing systems, and get informed about tools that will help them cut through the noise and reach people in their community. How can we as a church be aware of what's going on and maybe start to utilize that? We're here with Dennis, and Dennis is going to share some ideas of like what is out there right now that churches can start to utilize when it comes to AI. What's up, Dennis?
How's it going, Michael? Yeah, this AI world is very exciting, right? And just so you have some context into what's happening right now, is there's a big AI race that's going on. And a lot of the big players are a company by the name of OpenAI. OpenAI is the company that created the software ChatGPT. We're recording this in June, but about a month ago, OpenAI made this announcement that ChatGPT is now free, right? And a lot of it was free before, but their newest model that they just released called GPT-4o, which O stands for Omni, meaning that it's going to be multimodal, right? So they released this GPT-4 Omni, and essentially with GPT-4 Omni, it's their most powerful and their cheapest model yet. Powerful in the sense that now you're going to be able to do a lot with ChatGPT. And the best part is it's completely free to anybody without signing on, right? One of the coolest releases that they did from that release was they showed off in their mobile app, and it's also going to come to desktop, but their new pretty much voice assistant, right?
Where so I've been before you get into the new features, I was just trying to think how I've heard churches using ChatGPT so far, like within our context. So we're talking like marketing and branding and those type of things. So churches have started to implement like writing headlines for maybe social media posts, those type of things, or maybe like writing email blasts, or teasing out like maybe a blog post that they want to put on their website to kind of help somebody with a certain within a certain arena or certain area. So that's kind of what we're used to now with ChatGPT kind of as it is. But now you're saying there's a whole new set of features that are coming out.
Yes. And these set of features, the reason why it's important is because as soon as these features release, especially via their API, so this is basically a system for developers. What we're going to see is we're going to see a wave of AI applications that are using these new features. One of the most notable features that I saw was they have this new voice assistant. Now, the power of this new voice assistant is that it sounds like a human being, right? Like it sounds like you're legit speaking to a human. But now what it can do is it also has vision, right? So this new ChatGPT also has vision. So if we had it open right now, and there's plenty of demos in YouTube that you can go watch, but if let's say if somebody walks behind me and I'm talking to it, it's going to say, huh, Dennis, I noticed somebody just walked behind you. What exactly are they doing? So now it's like talking to you like a human. And now the powerful part, especially for us, is now this AI model will also have a desktop version. And by the way, this is free, right? It will also have a desktop version. So here's a practical use case. Imagine you're having a meeting and you have this AI assistant on. It's going to be able to summarize that meeting. It's going to be able to take notes from that meeting. And then later on, you're going to be able to talk to it and say, hey, what happened in that meeting? And it's going to talk to you like conversationally with very low latency, meaning that like, it's not like these, like when you talk to Siri and like you wait for a response, it's going to respond to you in real time.
Wow, that would have been so helpful. Like I was just thinking of my first job when I was in a church board room with the pastors and everybody's kind of shouting ideas, and then it's my job as a communications guy to be able to promote and explain and put everything out there. And it just seems like a whirlwind of information. But wow, that's pretty cool. If I can have somebody take notes for me and then later on be able to tell me what those details are that were in that meeting, or that would be super helpful.
And the way that this new AI model is going to shift everything is right now the way that we're using, like we're used to softwares, like if you're used to something like Planning Center or something like that, you're used to going on an application, looking at things, clicking around buttons. The next generation of software is going to be not necessarily you're going to be clicking through applications, but it's going to be you're going to be communicating and speaking through to your AI agent. And in fact, where this whole thing is going is you're going to start to see many organizations, many people, many homes will have their own AI assistant. In fact, as of this recording, we are recording this in June. Apple just released an update, I believe yesterday, or if not the day before. Apple released an update about something that they're calling Apple Intelligence. So again, what the main thing I want to communicate to people is like this is going to be a part of your everyday life, right? So with Apple Intelligence, you're going to be able to talk to your Siri and tell it to do certain things for you, and it's going to be able to go out and do these things as early as this fall, right? So now what the way that we use applications are shifting completely from like, what you're doing on the software versus these AI agents that are able to perform these tasks for you, and you can communicate with them via voice.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So within the church context, like how should we be thinking about some of this stuff? Like I know we can probably utilize it within our marketing. We could probably utilize it, to help us take notes in meetings, those type of things. But what are some actual applications that you can see that churches can at least be mindful of? Again, this episode is not about, you should embrace AI because it's whatever, or you should resist AI because it's evil. We're just trying to say, hey, here's what's going on. Like it's here. We're already interacting with it. So we might as well understand what's out there and at least get some insights from somebody like Dennis to say, here's what we can do with it.
I'll give you a quick run through of how I'm using AI, and also just for context, right now I have an agency called Sermon Clips. We do content creation and things like that for churches, and then I also own the name Church AI at churchai.com, and we're getting ready to release some software now. Here's how I've been using AI, right? Myself. One of the ways that I use AI is for the clients that we do their sermon production. What we do as soon as that file is finished, I drop that file into Google Drive, and I have an automation set up that it takes the transcript of that file and it writes the YouTube description and it writes the chapters for my client. And so without me doing anything except for uploading the file, it's giving me the YouTube description, it's giving me the chapters. And then I also have an automation. Once we create the sermon clips on a weekly basis, I just drop in the sermon clip into a folder, and each file that goes into a folder, it takes a transcript and then it creates social posts with really nice written captions that there's absolutely no way you would be able to tell that it's an AI written caption, right? So that's how I'm using A, and that has saved me and my team over several hours on a weekly basis, right? Now, I'll give you another high level example of how I'm using AI. Another way that I'm using AI now is in all of the videos that we're creating, like sermon bumpers and stuff like that, we're using a tool called 11 Labs, 11labs.io. And the way that we're using 11 Labs is we're typing in a text and we're getting a human like voiceover, right? So that's one way. The next layer of how churches will be able to use these tools is, let's say your pastor records a sermon in English. And again, some people are going to be resistant to this at the start of it, but eventually we will all accept it. Let's say your pastor records it in English, but then you have people in your congregation that speak Spanish. Well, now you were able to dub that whole entire sermon using 11 Labs. You are able to dub that whole entire sermon into another language with your pastor's voice.
Wow, that is, yeah. At first, it's like, what do I think about that? Like, how should I think about that? But I mean, I guess if we assume the best, that's pretty cool. Like the gospel gets out to even more people. Like that's pretty
Right?
cool. Are there any dangers you see right now that you can pinpoint?
Oh, there's a ton. In fact, just for context, Meta, the company, Facebook, right? Meta owns Instagram, and they also own WhatsApp. Meta released an AI model called Llama 3 that is a very, very powerful model. But now the issue with this model that they release is it's open source, meaning that anybody can go grab it and use it. Now, what happens is when you have a really good AI model that anybody can use, and with these AI models, just people who are smart, that are computer scientists, engineers, they're able to go and train these models. So pretty much, there's a lot of different things that you can create with these models. Now, one of these things that we're seeing that's going to be an issue, especially in schools, is deep fakes. So creating very realistic images of people that were not really those images, right? You're gonna notice you're gonna notice videos of people that are completely fake. Um, right now, what I'm doing personally is I'm only recording content probably once a month now. And then every other single piece of content that you are going to see from me is going to be my AI avatar. And I'm just saying that people are going to have to accept it, right? I don't need to be recording videos because now, in the same way that I'm recording this video, I can feed this video to a website called HeyGen, HeyGen, and it will literally create a clone of me. And all I have to do is provide it a script, and you are going to see a video of me speaking with my hands moving and all of these different motions. And if you haven't met me before, you would think that's me, right? So now you can go on a wild tangent of all of the issues with that, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah, there's a wow, you just explained something like that and you're like, "Oh my goodness, what in the world? Somebody could take my image and mess with me, you know? Or I could be watching something and thinking it's somebody that I know and I like and I trust, but then what could they be saying that, is not really them?"
mhm.
Man, there's a lot there to unpack. Wow.
Yeah. The other side of that too is the issue with AI right now is there's still some hallucinations. So in the AI landscape, one of the biggest problems with AI is instead of AI saying I don't know, AI is going to try to come up with an answer, right? And so that's why not everything that you see from AI is completely accurate. Um, I don't recommend that AI should be writing your sermons for you, right? But but um, AI can help you generate. I'll give you the story. I was doing a national keynote for this very well known organization, been around for maybe probably over 80, 90 years, something like that. So I was doing this keynote for this organization, and before I did the keynote, I put in my whole message, my notes, my everything into AI, and I told it to critique it. And there's this story that I tell all the time, and specifically for this audience, and I'll tell the story. It was talking about like the story of a starfish. We probably heard it. A girl's walking on the beach. She picks up a starfish. She noticed a whole bunch of starfish on the ocean. A guy comes, asks her what she's doing, and she says, "I'm throwing starfish back into the ocean." And then the guy says, "You can't possibly make a difference." And then she picks up the starfish, she throws it into the ocean, and she says, "I just made a difference to that one." So I have told that story probably over 100 times, many different conferences, keynotes, small group sessions, all of this stuff, right? But when I put it into AI gave me a different angle of the story that I never thought about before. And it actually related really well to that audience. And I changed up my whole talk because AI critiqued the message. So that's the power of what some of these tools can do for you.
Wow, that's so intriguing. So intriguing. So again, the goal of the this episode, the goal of like the stuff that we're releasing, there's multiple episodes we're going to release just on the topic of AI. The idea is like, how do we be informed and aware of what's going on in the AI world, and then through like the discerning, of the Holy Spirit, how do we understand how to leverage that? It's here, we're interacting with it, we're, it's already around us
Mm-hmm.
in our society. And so, as a church leader, a leader in the church, how can we be more aware of what's going on and be able to be equipped and to equip people in our church and our congregation to be at least aware of what's going on. Dennis, any final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thought is this, right? Again, like the tone of this video is not like AI is the best thing ever. Go use AI. Tell everybody on your team to use AI. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is this is not a trend, right? This is not like some like online digital trend that's like cool for now. AI is something that's going to fundamentally shift society as a whole in how we operate, how we do things, how we work, how we receive money. Every single thing in society will be impacted with AI a lot sooner than we think. Some things are going to happen gradually, right? It's not just going to be like this one day, like boom, AI everything. Some things are going to happen gradually and gradually and gradually. So for us as a church, we have to remain aware. So that means like we don't get to say like, okay, God's going to deal with that. And like, we just go back to what we're doing. No, everything is going to shift, right? Everything. So I just encourage you, stay up to date on some of these items. We're going to be releasing a newsletter soon to just, again, not to try to sell you stuff, but to just keep you updated on what's happening. I myself, I'm working on an AI software specifically for churches. And the goal for that is like, with this AI stuff, with every new update, with every new release, you're going to see a wave of AI software, AI platforms, all of these things. The next video we'll probably make will be about AI video, which is a whole nother big thing. But essentially, all of this software is coming out, and we just want to keep you updated so you can be informed as you try to navigate the biggest technological shift in history.
Ooh, man, mic drop. Oh, that was good. So yeah, so make sure you're staying up to date with Dennis. Again, he has sermon clips, but also like church.ai is something
Church
that
AI, churchai.com.
churchai.com. Thank you. That's something he's working on, and there's a newsletter coming. So make sure you stay up to date with him and what he's doing to help churches be just aware of what's going on in that space. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to this episode. The video version of the Church Brand Guide podcast is available on our YouTube channel. If this was helpful to you, please subscribe so you can be notified when we release new episodes. You'll also help the algorithm reach more people. We would love to help you brand your church. You can visit our website at churchbrandguide.com for more helpful resources, and you can schedule a call to speak with us.